Hello guys, today I'm gonna teach you something interesting. Do you want to be a web developer? If the answer is yes, this tutorial is certainly going to help you in big time. Today I'm gonna teach you an important concept in web development name called an API. So at the end of this tutorial, you will be familiar with the following questions. The first one is, what is an API? The second one is, what is the use of an API in web development? So this is what we are going to be learning in this tutorial with the help of building this simple project using an API. So this project is asking us like, what does your name say about your character? Let's say I'm going to enter a name here. My name is Ranjan. Let me click. Excited. So this is how my character would look like. Let me enter the different name. Let me say it's Nancy. Let's see how Nancy character would look like. Boom. This is how Nancy is going to look like. So this is a simple project that we are going to build with the use of an API. Without further ado, let's get started. The first question, what is an API? API is the acronym for Application Programming Interface, which is a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk to each other. Okay, I hope it's too technical. Some of you maybe still not familiar with what does this mean. To explain this better, let me take a familiar example. Imagine you are sitting at a table in a restaurant with a menu of choices to order from. Then that other side, that is a kitchen, is the part of the system that will prepare your food, right? What is missing here is the communication between you and the kitchen staff, isn't it so? In that case, the waiter will come and plays the important role, because the waiter will come and ask you what you want, and then he will take that request to the kitchen so that they can prepare your food. Then he will get that food for you, then he will deliver it to you. So that's waiter concept is called API. I hope you understood now what is API and what is the use of an API. So this API plays a very important role in web development. Especially I can give you another example. Let's say this time around the COVID cases are increasing, but you find that the statistics are coming out. This town, the number of cases is this. This country, today they have recorded this many number of cases, they have recorded this many number of deaths. Do you think that it's possible for me to know about a number of cases, number of deaths that are happening in the different countries? It's not possible, but still I can able to know how, with the help of this API, because I can create a system and then I can get the help from the API where I can pull the data from different countries in relation to the corona status, right? So this is about the theoretical part of an API. Let us explore this project, this simple project. We are going to use an API to make changes in these images. Every time when I type different names, I'm going to have different images. So with the help of an API, this is what we are going to be building. So without further ado, let's get into this practical part. Here in the folder, I have index.html. Let me create a basic boilerplate. So I can say this one, the title would be an API example, right? In the body section, this is where I'm going to create this information about this design, because it has got a heading and there is a div section. Inside there is a heading, then input box, then here is the place where I'm going to have my images. Down there I have a button labeled as click me. Let us create this one quickly, and then I want to let you know one thing. I'm not going to explain you the CSS part of this project, because the assumption is I believe that you know how to create this structure using CSS. I really want you to try to come up with this structure based on the HTML that we are going to have. In case if you have got the question, what I can do, I have already typed the CSS part for this project. I'm just going to scroll through so that you can pause the video, you can check in case if you need a reference. Otherwise, we are not going to do the CSS part for this project as for now. So what we are going to focus is an API, how to use API, how to pull the data from different places to our application. This is the main intention of this project. So let us quickly start with our HTML part, that basic design. So here in the body section, let me create a section. Within the section, first we have the heading, right? Let me create the H1. I'm going to say this one as a, what does your name say about your character? So this is heading that we have seen them in the actual design. Here we go. Then followed by, we have the label, the name saying enter your name, followed by the text box. Then there is an image, then button. Let us create that one. So I'm going to create a div with a class name called content. Inside I'm going to have the label. This label is going to ask me enter your name. Then I'm going to have the break tag so that I can have them in the next line, because I want the input box to be in the next line. So let me have the break tag. then I'm going to have the input. So here instead of, you can have an ID, but I prefer to have a class. So the class name I want them to be, let me say name. Then what is remaining? We need to have an image, right? So let me create the div with an ID name called image. So within this image I'm going to include the image. So img source is going to be name of the file. Here I have an image, I think so, new4.jpg, that is the name of the image that I have. So let me set some inline styling. So width, even the height, I want them to be 200 so that it can be in the square shape. Then let me create a class for this one. Maybe the class I would say new image. So all of these classes that I'm creating for the process of styling, that's the reason why these classes are here. So we have created the image. Then finally we had a button down there, right? So let me create the button now. So I'm going to create a simple button saying click me. Let me save and run. Let's see how does this look like. Great. We have managed to create the title, label, input box followed by an image and then the button. What we are remaining with is the styling part. So what I'm going to do, I already have the style sheet here I prepared. So I'm going to link this style sheet with my index.html. So let me do this. I'm going to the top there. Let me link the style sheet. Let me save and refresh. Okay, the design is not as exactly same as the actual one. So what is the problem? Let me go to my style.css. What is the problem? Oh, I have the class name as info, but I have not created any class name here in my HTML as info. So what I'm going to do here in the content section, I'm going to create a div with a class name called info. So within this div, I'm going to put this label and the input box. Let me cut and paste them inside, then it would work. Let me save and refresh, and you see how does this looks like. Okay, so where is this? So I want to move this div section towards the end of this part because this is a whole container. Let me save and refresh. It looks nice, just that the heading is not in the center. So what we can do, we can create a simple style there, text align center, where here in the section I can say text align and the center. Let me save and refresh. Yeah, it is. Now it is in center, just that maybe the font size is too big. No wonder it is not displaying in a single line. So let me just reduce the font size maybe to 40. Let me save and refresh. Yes, now this one looks exactly like the way the actual design is, right? So the intention is not to do the style sheet. As I said, that this one you can still work on it. In case if you want to look through the styles that I have applied, let me just scroll through so that you can pause the video and type the style, whatever the things that I have typed them here. Okay, now I hope you have seen the style sheet that I have used. This is an index.html file. Let me just run through what I have already. So there is a section. Within that section I have created the heading, and then there is a div with a class name called content, the whole div. Within the whole div I have got a div with a class name called info. Within this div we are going to have the label and the input box. Then I have created another div for the image where I'm going to have the actual image. Then I am going to have the button saying click me. Here is the end of the div section for this content. Then I'm closing the whole section here. I hope things are clear. Now what we are remaining with is every time when I type the name here, let me say when I type the name here and when I click this button click me, it should change the actual image there, right? That is the project that we are trying to do. So in order to do, we are going to make use of the JavaScript. There is a library name called jQuery. In JavaScript we have the library name called jQuery. That is what we are going to be making use of it to do this one with the help of an API. If you want to work with a JavaScript jQuery, the first thing that you should do is you have to include the library into your HTML document. In order to do that, what you can do, open up your browser, type jQuery cdn link, hit enter. Here the best place where we can get the CDN is CDN.js. This is the best place where we can get the CDN for the jQuery. Click that one, scroll down, let us get this one, jdn.min.js. click this one. When you click, it's going to say copy script tag, so click that one, go to your HTML. So here down there, before end of the body section, paste the link. That's all. Now we have the jQuery. Now what we need to do, this is a library for the JavaScript, right? Now we have the JavaScript file name called main.js. We need to include that main.js into our HTML as well. So that is two different things. One, we are going to include the CDN for the jQuery. jQuery is a JavaScript library. This one is a process of including the jQuery. The next one is, of course, we need to include the JavaScript file into our HTML. So for that, script tag source equals name of the file, main.js. Save. That's how we are done. Now what you need to do, go to this main.js. In jQuery, there is a function name called document.ready. So what is the use of this document.ready? I'm sure that we know we use JavaScript to manipulate the contents in the HTML. But a page cannot be manipulated until the document is ready. jQuery detects this state of readiness by using the function name called document.ready function. So I'm going to use this $sign as document.ready. This is a function. So what this function does, it will check the readiness of the document, because we need to manipulate the HTML once after the document is ready. So that one will make sure by using the method name called document.ready. So this is going to take a function. So this function, I'm going to say, so here you can go to the actual design. So here I'm going to type the name, and then here I'm going to click, right? So when I click, I want to make changes in these particular images. So here I'm going to create an on click event for this button, because I'm going to click on this button. In jQuery, if you want to create an event, so this is simple. You're going to use $sign, and then we are going to inside, we are going to use the selectors. So there is a concept name called selectors. You can select them based on the ID, based on the tag name, based on the class name. So what we are going to select them here is the button, right? So I'm going to my HTML. Here I'm going to click the button. So the tag name is button. So if you want to pass the tag name within the code, you're just going to type the name of the tag. In case if the button has an ID, you have to put hash in front, and then followed by the name of the ID for that button. In case if you have the class for that particular button, you're going to put dot in front followed by name of the class name. Here button is just the name of the tag, so just I'm going to pass button dot. Here I'm going to write the event. So when I click on that button, so the event is click. When I click that button, what will happen? It should change the images here. So where is the images? Let me go to my HTML. Here is an image. This is an actual image. I should change this particular image. In order to target this image, I have created the class name called new image, isn't it? So here, when I click on that button, it's going to call the function. That function again $to that image tag has got a class name. So you have to use single quote or double quote dot, because it has a class name. What is the class name? New image is the class name. Here we go. New image is the class name. So I have to change. So here you can go to the design. When I click, it should change. Here it's not like again I'm going to click this image. When I click, it has to change the image. So for that, I'm going to use the property name called attribute, attr. So this is an attribute. When I click on that button, it's going to call the function. That function is going to target the image, and then it's going to call that attribute. So this attribute is going to take two parameters. One is the source. So what do you want to change? I want to change the source of the image. Initially the source of the image is new4.jpg, right? So the first parameter is going to be the source, the actual source. Then comma, the second parameter is an API link. So we are going to get an image from that API. So in this case, there are different types of APIs that can be used. The one that I am going to use, the name is, let me show you, joscom.io. So this is a site that I am going to use to change the images. So if you scroll down, you can able to see here. This is a link that we are going to use, https://joscom.io.api.v1. Here in angle bracket you can see there is a name called seed. So that is where we are going to pass the name of the variable based on the name that you are entering into the input box. So for that, what we can do, let me copy this link and then I'm going to my HTML here. Let me paste them here. In case if you want to use the API, you have to use these back quotation marks inside this one. I'm going to pass that link that I have copied. So in bracket, angle bracket, I'm sure that you have seen we need to seed the actual name of the variable. So where are we going to get the name from? Let me show you the design. So here, this is an input box, right? So here is the place I'm going to enter the names. Then based on the names that I am entering there, when I click, it should give me a different image, right? So that seed, this is a place where we are trying to refer. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do here, before I'm going to create a variable, let me say const name equals, how am I going to get these names? Where am I going to get that name from? I'm going to collect it from this particular input box. What is the class name for that input box? Is a name, right? So let me copy this one. So I'm going to say this name, I'm going to get it from the dollar. Then since it's a class, so I have to put dot name. Whatever the values that the user enter into that particular input box, I'm going to collect them into the variable name called name. So I'm going to use dot value as a method. So what does that mean? So whatever the name that the user enter into this particular input box is going to be collected, and that value will be stored into the variable name called name. So this name variable now has the name. So based on this name, it has to fetch the image. So here I have to pass that particular variable name called name, so that every time when the user enters the different names, it can give us a different images from this particular website. That is how we can use an API. Now what do I need to do? So I have to pass this name of the variable name here in order to get the values. So here in JavaScript, especially when you use jQuery, if you want to get the values from the variable, we use expression. Expression means we are going to use a pair of curly braces, right? See, we are going to, this pair of curly braces is an expression. If you want to access the value from this name variable, you have to pass the name of the variable. Since it's an jQuery, so you have to use dollar in front. Then put a semicolon at the end. Save. Let me refresh. Let me go and type the name. Let me type my name, Ranjan. When I click, it should change the image, right? Let's see. Boom. This is how my character would look like. Then let me enter a different name. Mike. Hello Mike. How are you going to look like? Let's see. Wow. It looks cool, huh? Then let us enter some female names. Let me say Nancy. Oh, this is how Nancy would look like. I hope now we have understood the use of an API. I have used two applications. My user side, I have created the UI. Then I just linked the API into my site, and then it can still able to pull the data from the web server. So in short, API is nothing but a bridge between two applications, right? I hope you have understood. You have an idea about how to use an API. There are different ways that you can use an API. This is a one way. This is not the only way that you can use. There is a method name called fetch. In case if you have learned about JavaScript promises, I'm sure that you have learned about await, asynchronous, keyword, and then fetch methods. You can use all those methods to fetch data from the web server to the web browser, right? This is how an API can be used in a website. I hope you have liked this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel if you have not yet.